Jim. Welcome back to the Clark Activity Center. West leading the East 39-30 with 2:33 left to go in the first half. I'm Roger Twyville along with Dick Vitale. So far for the East, as you take a look at their coach Lou Carn second, Shelton Jones of St. John's leads them with 7 points. And for the West, Chris Sandel leading the way with 11 points. We've had some substitutions. Let's bring you up to date. At the line right now, the free throw shooting situation is Skip Berry out of Boston College. He's a 6'7" sophomore. Also playing for the East right now is Quinn Snyder right behind him. He is number 5 from Mercer Island, Washington, and he'll be attending Duke. Also in the game, Demetrius Gore. He is number 9 for the East. Also in Walker Lambiat, number 11, and number 16, Rodney Blake. And that rounds out the East for you. This is the West. This is Ricky Berry from San Jose State bringing it up.
Ricky Berry, his dad is the coach at San Jose State. He started for Oregon State. Ralph Miller decided to transfer, go back and play with his dad. He's playing the point guard slot, Roger, and I don't believe he looks comfortable. Good move inside.
He looked good right there. That's 6'8" Ricky Berry, a red shirt. And as Dick said, played at Oregon State a couple of years, and now will be playing for his dad at San Jose.
His father, Bill Berry, was the assistant to Judd Heathcote the year they won the national championship in '79. Michigan State.
Well, Demetrius Gore tried to take it in, but it was thrown in his face by Richard Robinson. Levy Middlebrooks loses it. This is Quinn Snyder. Nice move by Quinn Snyder.
Snyder, a very heady player. He's got good scoring ability. They're asking him to play the point. He's going out to Duke University, and I believe he'll spot guys like Tommy Amica and Johnny Dawkins, give him maybe 8 minutes and learn during his freshman year from Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils.
Foul underneath was on Demetrius Gore holding. 1:36 left to go. 41-33. The West leads the East, and the West, the difference here is shot 61%, the East 32%.
They're really moving the basketball, Tom Davis's team, getting good shot selection and really playing well together right now, especially on the offensive game in their half-court game. Most of these teams rely on the transition game, Roger, because an all-star competition, as we look at Coach Davis, the
Levy Middlebrooks right next to him,
Boston College coach, and he had a great success also at Lafayette. In fact, Gary Williams was his assistant coach.
Who's now the coach in Boston College. Turner, who missed the free throw, got it back up and then really battling underneath, and Skip Berry comes away with it. This is Quinn Snyder. Demetrius Gore, and in.
Demetrius is going to be part of that. Charlie Smith and Jerome Lane at Pittsburgh. Hey, Pittsburgh's going to sell a lot of tickets. They got a lot of talent next year.
Tom Lewis missed the layup, and Snyder will bring it up again. His team, the top team in the state of Washington, Mercer Island. Whistle underneath.
Great change of direction right there by Snyder, taking the ball to the goal. Berry says, who, me? I didn't touch him. There's the change of direction. Watch, we'll take a look at it right now. He had already changed. Now he makes that power move to the basket. Berry comes over. Rick said, I didn't touch him, number 6, San Jose State. I'll tell you something about San Jose State. They're going to have an outstanding tandem with Berry, who has a lot of good skills, and the kid we talked about a little bit earlier, Owens, we were talking during a break, you and I, a very strong player, was the freshman of the year of the conference.
Quinn Snyder misses the free throw, but a good job by Skip Berry, who puts it up and in.
Gary Williams has got to really be pleased with his performance. He was really outstanding yesterday. Nashua, New Hampshire. I didn't know they made players out in Nashua, New Hampshire, Roger.
Well, they do, and he's got 7 points so far. Stripped loose, and here comes Walker Lambiat.
Yeah, Demetrius believes that you get more points by degree of difficulty of the shot, Roger. He tries to make everything spectacular.
He ought to be over with Luganis in the diving well. Ricky Berry inside. Now, that ball was taken off the rim, and you can do that in international rules.
Once the ball hits the rim, it is live, and you can play with it.
Followed up right there by Joe Turner. He's a 6'9" sophomore at the University of Arizona.
Very active player. He runs the court really well, and Lute Olson's got a good one. Olson had a great recruiting class headed by Sean Elliott coming in next year. Look for Arizona to be on I believe, the class of the top 10.
Three-pointer by Berry. As time running down here in the first half, just 8 seconds left to go, and the West leads these 43-39. There's a look at Walker Lambiat from Woodstock, Virginia. He'll be going to North Carolina State. Ricky Berry, and he is fouled.
You know, it's interesting, Roger, if you get fouled in attempting a three-point play, you get 3 free throws. At least they hate that in the NBA, watching a guy go to the foul line and shooting 3 attempts at the hole. I'm glad the Rules Committee decided to put that out as we look at Luigi Carnesecca, St. John's, the vintage Mr. Carnesecca.
Ricky Berry with 6 points, and you see in the background around to some of the crowd on hand here. A lot of professional scouts, a lot of college scouts, a lot of people taking a look at these very young players. And there is Ricky Berry, 6 points so far on the evening.
His dad's a class act. Did a tremendous job. He was the guy that used to flash the cards with all the different kinds of plays that they ran at Michigan State with Judd Heathcote when they had Magic Johnson and Greg Kelser. I guess you didn't have to flash too many plays with the Magic Man.
Joe Turner, right before the buzzer to end the half, and the West takes a 45-39.
Let's check in on basketball again. They're about to start the second half. Over to Roger and Dick.
Thanks, Jim. Halftime, West leading the East 45-39. A lot of great basketball coaches here at the National Sports Festival in Baton Rouge. And there is Denny Crum, head coach at Louisville, who is on the selection committee for the South section. He helped select the South team here. And Larry Brown, who is coaching the North squad, a guy who played on our Olympic team in '64, was also an assistant coach under Dave Gavitt.
Both guys are loaded. I know they don't want to hear that, but Kansas should be a top 10 team. And Louisville had probably the greatest recruiting class in America with Kenny Payne, Purvis Ellison, and also Tony Kimbrough. What a class.
And the other thing you got to mention is that both are being considered as the head coach for the 88 games. That's another selection process that takes place.
And I'm going to give you my selection, my choice on Wednesday. That means he's getting the kiss of death. He won't get the job.
Okay, let's talk about the players right now. Chris Sandel from Arizona State University had a pretty good first half. He's from Poly High in Long Beach, California. Started 19 games last year for Arizona State.
He was heavily recruited. He was one of the 3 blue chippers from the West Coast, along with John Williams and Fred McMillan. But he's a strong inside player, expecting big things from him. There's Walker Lambiat. Walter Lambiat. He had the great game, a super game with the McDonald's All-American game as MVP.
There's Walker Lambiat, and he is a 6'7" forward going to North Carolina State. Watch the jump shot here.
He's a tremendous shooter. Walker's got that great touch a la Chris Mullin, and he's a tremendous competitor. Watch him hustle and dive for this ball. He's ready to scrap his knees. Hey, Valvano's got a good one if Jimmy doesn't screw him up. If Jimmy leaves him alone and lets him play, he's going to be a great one.
There's a good look at Walker Lambiat, who averaged over 28 points a game and 13 rebounds. The thing we got to remember here, Dick, is the fact that many of these players in this All-Star game were the top players in their high school team, and maybe for the first time ever, they've got to blend in and play some roles.
Well, they have to play roles. They become the secondary options as opposed to being the primary option when they played on a scholastic level, or some of these guys, were Mr. Big, Mr. Superstars, Roger, and everything came to them. Now, all of a sudden, they're playing with other great players.
Demetrius Gore off the tip. He puts it up and in, and it counts. And the foul will be on Anthony Taylor. That's Taylor, who attends the University of Oregon. He's out of Beaverton, Oregon.
I like Anthony Taylor. I really like him as a point guard right now. As we watch the tip, poor positioning right now by Taylor as Gore takes the ball up strong to the basket. He was Mr. Basketball in Michigan, an explosive scorer, Demetrius, in high school. Last year, he had some good games, some bad games, and it was an adjustment period for him for Roy Chipman's Pittsburgh basketball team.
And Demetrius Gore has 8 points right now. This is the West squad. And here comes Quinn Snyder. He'll take it all the way up and in. Misses it. Tipped up and in, though. That was Richard Robinson from Nevada, Las Vegas, a 6'10 sophomore.
No, Roger, that was Demetrius Gore, number 9.
I'm sorry.
East. Robinson wears 9, but he's wearing the red uniform.
The whistle underneath. You'll notice the free throw lanes, as we are using international rules, they are a little bit wider as you get closer to the basket.
Roger, they're 18 feet wide along the baseline. Then it narrows to the 12-foot lane. I like it because it opens up the lane for the guard. It allows more driving. As we take a look at the line, as we see it narrow toward the foul line area, the 15-foot
makes it a little bit more fair for the shorter players, right?
It gives the little guy a break. So does the 20-foot three-point attempt. I really like that as well. I think it adds excitement. It gives the little guy a shot.
This is Reggie Owens from San Jose State, 6'6" sophomore.
Bill Berry's got a good one in Owens. Strong inside power player.
There's an example. Lichty, the guard, got the rebound off the missed free throw. It's kept alive. Put up and in. And that was Chris Sandel, and he's had the hot hand.
He's had a hot hand here today. He was 5 for 20 coming into this contest, but he's, I believe, 6 for 8 right now.
He's got 13 points. You're exactly right. And there's Demetrius Dimitri Score, another guy that likes to shoot. So often in the All-Star games, they become shooting contests, and this is what's transpired so far here tonight. The West leading the East 48-46. The ball stripped away. On the move to the hoop, that was number 10, Reggie Owens, and there's a look at Walker Lambiat.
I got a kick out of Dave Whitney. He told his team, as we look at Tom Davis, and you were at the practice session, he said, hey, the first 19 seconds belong to me. The last 11 seconds belong to you guys. You can freelance, but I want to play with some semblance of control on the floor.
Dave Whitney, of course, coaching the South team from Alcorn State, and we'll be seeing Dave Whitney, Larry Brown, the North and the South on Wednesday night.
That's a contrasting style of coaching. The All-American boy, the guy that's coached at all the glamour schools, the UCLAs, the pro jobs, and David Whitney scratching and clawing, trying to get to that so-called promised land.
Quinn Snyder, even though he's from Mercer Island, Washington, playing for the East squad because he's going to be attending Duke University along with Danny Ferry. The steal, and Reggie Owens.
Reggie Owens with good anticipation ability, played the passing lane and got himself a little layup.
50-46, West with a 4-point lead. Pretty good spin move inside right there, and that was Mark Bryant, a young man from Seton Hall.
And P.J. Carlissimo's smiling as he's sitting in the stands right now at Seton Hall.
Anthony Taylor hit the outside shot. That's one thing Dick mentioned, that there haven't been that many outstanding outside shooters here.
Taylor's going to be a good point guard because he does have range as well. Don Munson's got a good one in Anthony Taylor out of Oregon.
And Taylor comes up with a loose ball.
He's got good size and quickness, Roger, at 6'4" to play the point.
This is the running right-hander, and Lichty sends it back inside. That was big Leonard Taylor from Cal Berkeley. He gets the ball back in the lane. And the whistle. 17:54 left to go in this game between the East and the West. The West with a 52-48 lead. We'll return in a moment. Is Chris Sandel. He's the leading scorer for the West with, make it now 15 points. The East is stormed back, though. They have an 80-76 lead. Skip Berry has led the way. He has 13. Demetrius Gore 14, and Mark Bryant with 12 points. And this is the second free throw for the sophomore to be at Arizona State.
The East really got back in the game, Roger, with some real tenacious defense. They were really playing the passing lanes, pressure on the basketball, and really denying and doing a great job on the boards as well.
Quinn Snyder has the basketball right now, guarded by Todd Lichty. Nice pass inside. Gore, a good move. He is an offensive machine, isn't he?
Well, he's a sensational kind of talent. He's got all kinds of spectacular ability. But as I said, Roger, he can shoot you out of a game as well as shoot you into a game with his shot selection.
Well, he has shot the East back into this game because Demetrius Gore now has 16 points. A lot of folks on hand here tonight, including NBA scouts. Ed Badger of the Celtics, Jack McMahon of the Philadelphia 76ers, and that man was Bob Ferry, general manager and the father of Danny Ferry.
Well, he has double duty. Number one, he's watching number 17, Danny Ferry, Parade High School All-American, the number one high school player in the nation, according to Parade. Comes up with the loose ball. Look at the great vision. At 6'10", he sees over the top of the defense. He finds the open man, Doug West from Altoona, who was the MVP of the Pennsylvania All-Stars, and the Dapper Dan will be playing for Villanova.
Unfortunately for Danny tonight, he hasn't scored any points. He's done a good job defensively, 8 rebounds. And Bob Ferry, general manager of the Washington Bullets, he's got to be thinking draft pick 4 years down the road.
Well, I tell you one thing, the kid's going to be a solid player on a collegiate level. I don't think there's any doubt about it, Roger.
Gore missed that one, and Chris Sandel comes up with a rebound. The East with an 82-78 lead and 4:56 left to go. Dick, we've seen the first few days of this competition, able to watch the practices. It's amazing in the span of a week to see the players individually and collectively the way they've improved.
Well, they play with a lot of intensity and a lot of emotion. They know they're being evaluated, and all these kids really have that dream of wearing that Olympic uniform in 1988, and this is the phase 1 evaluation right now.
Three-pointer for Ricky Berry, and it's 82-81, a 1-point lead for the East.
Berry's looked impressive here tonight. He shows the ability of shooting the long-range jump shot, and his dad feels he's going to be a great tandem with Reggie Owens at San Jose State.
Berry with 10 points now. Charles Smith, 6'10" from Pitt. And he's fouled underneath.
Things have really been tough for Charles Smith. I thought Charlie would be one of the real impact players during the game. He has great ability, a multi-dimensional athlete. I just love his talent from out of Connecticut, playing for the University of Pittsburgh. But that's been one of the problems for Louis Cornacec's team. He hasn't had a take-charge player a la Danny Manning for Larry Brown's team and John Williams doing it for David Whitney's team, and that's why they're in the gold medal game on Wednesday night. I can't wait for that game, Roger. That's going to be really an intense battle.
And we'll have that game for you right here Wednesday night as our coverage of the National Sports Festival from Baton Rouge continues. See, the official doesn't have to touch the ball. International rules, they get it in quickly, and the foul ain't counted. And that was Ken Luckett out of Portland, Oregon, who sends Idaho the foul on Quinn Snyder, and all of a sudden we're tied up at 83 with 4:10 to go.
That was all created by the clever play in the backcourt, getting the ball up the court, and Luckett did a tremendous job running the court. We take a look right now. International rules, you do not have to handle the basketball in the backcourt, the official. There's the ball being inbounds. He gets ahead of the pack. Here comes... Good drive by Luckett. He seals off the defensive player. Quinn Snyder definitely grabs him. There's Snyder going out to Duke University, where he'll combine with Danny Ferry, joining the likes of Tommy Amica, Johnny Dawkins, and a front court of Allery, Billis, and you better put it down already, Mr. Krzyzewski, Mr. Ferry. Raj, I'm going to lay on you Wednesday also my 5 guys as far as the All-Stars of the National Sports Festival, not based on reputation coming into this game, but based on what they have done while they've been here.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. West with an 84-83 lead, under 4 minutes left to go. Quinn Snyder just fouled out of the game. That is Charlie Smith. Now, that's beautiful move.
That's the real Charlie Smith. The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. He has arrived here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
He's got 9 points, and he blocks the shot underneath as Luckett, who's 6'4", took it inside to the 6'10" Charlie Smith.
Charlie faces the defense, gives a little fake spin move, a 360, wheels on a baseline, 6'10", lays it on the glass. Hey, he's the Eastern version of Danny Manning playing for... And now he's going to do it on the defensive end as well. He says, Roy Chipman, Pittsburgh, watch me. I can play on both ends of the floor.
Chris Sandel just nailed the jumper. The West back out in front, 86-85. Sandel with 18 points tonight. So in this game, his final game, he is really impressed after getting off to a slow start. Walker Lambiat misses. Smith is there. The offensive board tipped around and finally tipped in. And it looked as though that was 15. Excuse me, Blake.
I think they give it
16. Yes, they did.
Rodney Blake. They're doing a better job going to the glass, Roger, and that's why they're on top. They're really doing a better job, the East team, going to the board.
87-86. East with the lead. Loose ball underneath. Offensive board tipped around, and finally, Ken Luckett loses it out of bounds.
That's been a real problem for Tom Davis, getting some rebounding. Richard Robinson hasn't given him the boards.
We'll be back with more of the National Sports Festival in just a moment.
Life, they move the street lights inside. I'll be looking for you, kid, at Rumors, 110 East Riverside Drive.
Welcome back to the Clark Activity Center on the campus of Southern University in Baton Rouge. I'm Roger Twibell, along with the well-rested Dick Vitale.
We take a look at Larry Brown sitting there very relaxed as we're watching Tom Davis.
Isn't relaxed. Tom Davis, the West coach, as they gave a disputed hoop to the East, and they now have a 3-point lead. The 30-second clock went off. The players relaxed. Smith put the shot up and in, and they immediately said no basket. Then they went over and checked with the official score with the timekeeper. They've counted the hoop, and the East has a 3-point lead.
I think we give a little credit for that goal, not only to Charlie Smith with the aggressive play on the glass, but to Louis Cornacec fighting like crazy on the sideline to get that extra deuce. Hey, these coaches want to win, Roger, despite some of the comments you hear. Well, it's only an all-star game. I haven't met a coach yet who doesn't want to put a W on his side no matter what he does.
2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the half, and when you speak about the coaches, they're under observation also, because any of these coaches could be considered not only for the National Sports Festival in years to come, but also the Pan Am Games, the World University University games, and then finally the 88 Olympic games.
I believe there are about 30 to 35 coaches that are in a pool right now that are being evaluated, and some of the front runners have to be John Thompson, have to be Larry Brown, who has the 64 experience as a player with Bill Bradley, his roommate Walt Hazard, who's now the coach at UCLA, and he was an assistant to Dean Smith. You have to talk about Denny Crum, who has a lot of experience, the World Games, and I really believe they're some of the front runners right now. But there's so many good coaches in America. Roger, I've always said, as we take a look at Dennis right now, he's just on cloud 9 with that recruiting class of Kane, Ellison, and Kimbrough. I don't blame him. But there's so many good coaches in the nation.
89-86, three-point lead for the East. That's Butler, and he misses, the big man from Stanford. And Berry gets the rebound. I'll tell you what, Skip Berry's had a great game. He's got 13 points. He's crashed the boards. He's had 2 very impressive games so far for Luke Carnesecca. He's 7 rebounds for Skip Berry. There he is, number 13 from Boston College.
He was very impressive also last night.
Boy, there's Charles Smith. I'll tell you, he's in control, hasn't he?
He is saying, give me the rock, get out of the way, and it is going to be PT prime time, and I'm going to play like a surf and turfer, a superstar.
He has 11 points now, 9 of those coming in the second half. And it's 91-86 with a minute and a half left to go. Sandel inside, strong player, and he is fouled. Boy, it's good to see a kid assert himself like that when somebody needs to take charge. And as you mentioned, Dick, on the East and the West, maybe they haven't had that player that's really wanted to step forward and take charge.
Well, he has that kind of talent, and he's demonstrating it right now. He possesses tremendous quickness to the basket, an explosive player with a great first step. We watched him reverse the basketball. Barry kicks it out. There's Smith again. Splits the defense. Seals off the defense. Cradles it. Lays it down. Good fingertip control. Just an outstanding player. Played at Harding High School, the same school that produced John Bagley of Boston College fame, now the Cavaliers, and also little Wes Matthews.
Chris Sandel, as you look at Charles Smith with 18 points, missed that first free throw. Sandel, as we mentioned, from Arizona State University. And
that's got to be a great job, Roger. Tremendous facilities, beautiful weather, but they didn't even give me a call. You think the AD, Charlie Harris, down there would call and find my number. Should I give it to him? It's in the book.
Dick, you're not going to campaign for any shots while you're on TV here. Just work on the color angles, will you? 91-87. Just over a minute left to go. That's Howard Evans. A little push-off there.
Evans played at Temple for John Chaney, and Temple only turned the ball over about 10 times a game. He does a great job with his offense out there at Temple.
Turnaround shot up and in. That was Rod Blake out of St. Joseph's.
Philadelphia connection. Evans and Blake, the city of brotherly love, gets another deuce.
Less than a minute to go. 93-87. West will have the ball inbounds. For many of these players, as Ricky Berry puts up the three-pointer and misses, and that's going to be traveling on luck. And for many of these players, the first time they have been involved in a competition like this. Sure, they're high school all-star games, but this is the national exposure. This is the National Sports Festival. And as we saw a graphic earlier in our telecast of all the Olympic members in the gold medal winning squad who've had National Sports Festival. And I mean, you're talking Michael Jordan, just to name one, and he kind of went on to do okay with the Chicago Bulls this year.
He's a fair player. He's got a little bit of jumping ability. Some of the MVPs in the past, in 1979, one of the MVPs was James Worthy. Then we had Stuart Gray back in 81, Eddie Pinckney, and Kenny Walker.
Great list of players who are at the National Sports Festival in Baton Rouge. Just 43 seconds left to go. The East leads the West.